Hello and welcome coders to the Sky Coding. So this tutorial is basically the third part of the JSON loading. In the previous two videos, we have covered all of the JSON, that how to load the JSON data from the internal stages as well as from the external stages. Okay, and let me show you. Okay, this is basically the JSON internal loading we have done, and we have seen JSON with array, JSON with nested type, and how can we access the data. You can see how can you access the array type of data and how to get the array size, and how can you access the nested data, and how can you parse the data, and how can you convert the array type of semi-structured JSON data into the tabular structure by using the flattening. And the second method is by using this copy command only, by just parsing this caller, by doing this dollar notation, and by just parsing the data into the copy command only. Okay, we have seen this thing in the internal stages loading and as well as in the external stages as well. Okay, this is the worksheet for the external stages. Okay, and these are the things which I have done for the external stages. Okay, you can see parsing of JSON data into column format. You can use this dollar notation for accessing the column, or you can just cast the data from the variant column into specific data type like that. Okay, let me show you that way as well. You can see we have done this thing, indexing we have done, and after that we are just casting this category name to the string. Okay, and we have covered these things by using the author.json file. Okay, and we have also provided this author.json. Whatever script I am using, I am just providing that in the Telegram channel. You can join that and you can get all those things. Okay, and we have done this flattening and lateral flatten function. Okay, these are the things which I have done earlier. Okay, so now today's session is also related to the JSON only, and in today's session we will discuss about JSON object construct. Okay, object construct is basically a function by which returns basically an object constructed from the arguments, and it will just create a JSON type of data. Suppose that you have any normal data and you want to convert that data into the JSON type, then how can we convert the normal data into the JSON type? Okay, and we will see this object construct, and after that we will see array underscore arguments. Okay, and array arguments is basically returns then array type of data. Okay, and if the input is empty in this array, then it will just return the empty array. Okay, so we will discuss about this function. After that we will see how can we parse the data and how can we directly insert the JSON type of records into the table. As we are doing insert into table name, after that we are giving the column name and the column value. But here we will also see that how can we give directly the values, means directly the JSON type of data, array type of data, and how can we directly insert that into the table. Okay, we will discuss that thing, and after that we will see types or type of function. Okay, this is a type of function by which we can check the data type, means which data type which column is collecting. Okay, we will discuss this thing and dealing with date and time stamp. After that we will see flattening JSON data into separate tables. Okay, so we will discuss all those things. Okay, we have basically 7 topics today for this session. Okay, so let's move ahead without wasting any time. Okay, so what are the things which I am going to do here? First of all is object construct. Okay, we will just take one simple data and we will just convert that simple data into the JSON format. Okay, and let's see that how can we convert the simple data, means which is written in the rows, or you can say with separated by comma or like that simple data, and how can you get that data in the JSON format. Okay, so basically the object function. Okay, so let's first of all understand this object underscore construct function, and after that array arguments, then we will just do this. Okay, so this is basically, I have also opened this documentation as well. Okay, you can visit to this documentation and I will provide you the link of this documentation. Okay, you can directly search on the web that Snowflake object underscore construct docs. Okay, so this documentation will come. Okay, you can see this is an object underscore construct function. It returns an object constructed from the arguments. Whatever argument you will provide, it will just return that object. Okay, and it will convert your simple data into the JSON type. Okay, the basic thing overall in the layman's point of view is that it will convert your simple data into the JSON format. Okay, you can see this is basically the syntax key, this is basically the key, and this is value, key value pairs. Okay, as JSON data in the key value pairs. Okay, so we will give here key, and after that value, key value, like that we will give. Okay, and the data type of the return value is an object. Okay, it will return the object. Okay, as while working with the array argument, it will return an array. Okay, and you can read this, the function accepts either a sequence of 0 or more key value pairs where keys are strings and values are of any type. Okay, so whatever the keys means, you can just compare key with then column name. Okay, so you can see key with the column name, and whatever values we are providing, that you can say of the any of data type, whether they are string or a number. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so suppose that this is my sample to.json. Okay, and this is my people.json. Okay, so first name is a key, and the value of first name is Rahul, and first name and this last name, it is a key, and his value is Yadav. Okay, so this is basically key value pairs. Okay, and you can see if the key or value is null, SQL null, the key value pair is omitted from the result operation. Okay, suppose that you have given this key and it doesn't have any of the values, so it will just return the null as well. We have seen this thing in the previous session. Okay, and you can see by this way you can just convert any of the data into the JSON type. Okay, suppose that what it is using, he is just selecting an object and underscore construct function, and after that he is taking a is he is giving a in the a single quote. So a is a key value pair, and value of a is a 1, and he is giving b is also a key value pair, and value of b is this one. Okay, value of b. Okay, and this is c, and c is null, so that's why it is not showing c. Okay, that's the point here written. Okay, if the key value is null, then that will not be shown. Okay, you can see. Okay, so by this way you can convert your simple data into the JSON type. Okay, maybe you have a requirement that you want to convert the simple data into the JSON type, so you can use this object underscore construct function. Okay, and this example uses this asterisk to get the attribute name and the value from the from clause. Okay, suppose that you have created this JSON data. Okay, and you want to give any of the column 1 value is this, column 2 value is this, so you can use the asterisk. We will see this thing in practical, we will do. Okay, so you can see these things, and you can just see all of the examples which are present here on of the object underscore function. Okay, and object underscore construct function. Okay, so you can just visit to this documentation, and you can study these things one time, then you will better understand these things. Okay, so this is all about the object underscore construct function. Okay, and let's do the practical of this function, object underscore construct, then we will understand array arguments function. Okay, so you can see object underscore construct function, and we have written basically these queries, and after that we will also do some of the things. Okay, we have written these queries in this session earlier only, because doing these things in the session only, it's just consuming lots of time, and video is more long. Okay, in the previous session of the JSON internal stages loading is 1.5 hour video, and after that 45 minutes. Okay, so it is just consuming all of the time while writing all of these queries, means 200-300 lines of code. It's just consuming lots of time. Okay, so that's why I have written query for these. Okay, and we will just do some of the practicals, then we will just type those things query in front of you. Okay, then we will better understand. Okay, so suppose that I am having this table. Okay, let me show you the data first. Okay, so suppose that this is my Joey Jackson male age. Okay, so suppose that you want to generate this type of data. Okay, I don't want to just I am not any loading any of file JSON or like that. Okay, as we have done in the previous session. Okay, so I want to generate the JSON type of this first name is Joey, and last name is Jackson, and gender is male, age is 28, and the mobile number is this, and address is null. Okay, so suppose that I want to convert this data into the JSON type. So we have seen that we will use the object underscore construct function. Okay, so that's why we are giving select object underscore construct function, and after that this is a key as JSON data is in key value pairs. Okay, so that's why first name is a key, and the value of this key is a Joey. We are giving this in single quotes because it is an string, and if this is a number, then we will just leave that as it is without any single or double quotes. You can see here age is 20. Okay, so first name is Joey. First this is a key value, and the value of first key value is Joey, and this is the second key value last name, and the last name is this, and the gender is a third key value, and the gender is male. Okay, and this is a age is a fourth key value, and in the age we are giving age is 28, and this is a number, it is a fourth or fifth key value, and the number is this one. Okay, you can leave it also as it is. Okay, here we are not giving single quotes, and here we are giving. Okay, let's see that what's the difference. Okay, and address is null. Okay, so now whenever we will execute this, then it will show you the JSON type of data. Okay, so let me execute this. Okay, and let's see. Okay, you can see we got this JSON type of data. Okay, age 28, first name, gender, last name, number. Okay, you can see we have this data here, first name, last name, gender, age, and address. Okay, you can see, and the phone number. Okay, you can see we got this data. Okay, age, first name, gender, last name, number. Okay, we got JSON type of data. So by this way you can just use this object underscore construct function for just converting your normal data into the JSON format. Okay, I have just described these object underscore function and array arguments. I thought that I should create a video on this because these are very important functions. Sometimes these questions come in the exam, that what is object underscore construct function and what is array argument and what is parsing, what is flattening. Okay, so that's why I have created this video. Okay, and here we have seen that we use basically asterisk for giving the column name, so you can see. Okay, and we will try with this column this asterisk as well. Okay, so what we are doing here, select object underscore construct and after that asterisk from values, and from values, and these are basically these things. First name we have just simply copied these things here, first name Joy, last name Jackson, and gender male, age 28, number is this, and address is null. Okay, and it is not showing any of the address here because address value is address key value, and address is a key value. Okay, and the value of this is null. Okay, so that's why it is not showing here address. Okay, so now we will see here, we will get this data in the column 1, column 2 like that. Okay, so let me execute. Okay, and you can see we got this column 1 first name, column 10 this, it is just like jumbled. Okay, column 1 is first name, column 2 is this Joy, column 3, column 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and after that 10, and after that 11. You can see we got address here as well. Okay, you can see like that you will get this data. Okay, column 1 is first name and the first name is this Joy, first name is Joy. Okay, you can see you will get this type of data whenever you will use asterisk here. Okay, and now suppose that you want to get this data in the tabular format. Okay, earlier what we are doing, earlier we are just uploading one file, that JSON file, into the stage, and after that we are just storing that JSON file into any of the table. Okay, and we are just parsing that into the tabular format. But here suppose that I have this data and I want this data in the tabular format. So what you can do means you can try with this data or you can just take another data as well. Okay, so parsing JSON data, create a tabular type of data by giving column name. Simply we are just giving two column names. Okay, so people as a group ID, why we are taking people as a group ID, let me show you. People is a parent here. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so if you will type here people and colon. Okay, so people will be just a parent ID and all of these data are basically related to this people only, this people. Okay, so this first Rahul is also related to this parent of Rahul is this people only, and Samir is also a people. Samir is also a child of a people, and this Natasha is also a child of people. Okay, so parent people is a parent. Okay, so this is basically the parent column. Okay, and these are the child. Okay, so suppose that this is phone, so phone is a parent of this work and mobile, but phone is also a child of this people. Okay, so that like that tree type of diagram we follow here. Okay, in the JSON nesting. Okay, so here what we are doing, people as a group ID, because people is my main column, means people is, you can say root, or you can say it is a parent. Okay, and Pranav we are just giving this any name, Pranav as first name, Malvi as last name, and we are just doing the union, people as group ID and Shivam as first name, Kumar as the last name. Okay, we are just taking this for the first name and last name. Okay, by this way you can get this data in the column format. Okay, you can see we got this group ID here, people, and this is first name and this is last name for Shivam. Okay, so if you want to see the data in the column format, then you can see like this way. Okay, and we are just giving this select a string and we will just get this. Okay, so let me do this, and you can see we got all those things as earlier. Okay, so this is basically the function of object underscore a construct function, that how can we use the object underscore construct function for just converting your normal type of data into the JSON. Okay, so we will use just basically object underscore construct function, and you can visit to the Snowflake documentation. Okay, and you can see here lots of examples are given. Okay, you can just practice these things and then you will better understand this about this object underscore construct function. Okay, and we have done this thing. Okay, we have to just use this object underscore construct function, and you have to just give this key value and a key pair, and this is basically, this is a column name, you can say this is a key and this is a value. So, and I, as you already know that JSON is a combination of key value pair. So this is a key and this is a value. Okay, so you can use like this way, object underscore construct function for converting the normal data into the JSON. Okay, so now let's move ahead and let's understand about this array underscore argument. Basically array underscore arguments is a you can say it is a returns a input values changed into an array. It will just return array type of data, and if the array is not only value means empty array, then it will just return the type of means empty array it will be returned. Okay, so now let's understand about this array argument function. Okay, you can also check this array argument function. Okay, I will just provide you this uh, documentation is link in the description box. You can see that thing. Okay, this is basically array aggregate function. You can see semi-structured window functions and all this. Okay, you can see this is array cat, array compact. There are lots of functions which are available. Okay, and there will be one session for all these functions, regular expressions. There are lots of regular expressions which are available, system functions. Okay, we will discuss all about these things. Okay, so this is basically array arguments, and it returns the input values pivoted into an array, means changed into an array if the input is an empty array is returned. Okay, and let's see the syntax. Okay, so this is aggregate function, and this is the distinct, and this is an expression, and you can use the order by clause here, and this is basically about the window function. Okay, and you can see it returns a value type of array. Okay, and you can see these are some of the nodes. A distinct is supported for this function if you don't not specify within group. Order by clause, the order of elements each array is unpredictable. Okay, so you can see these are the examples which are given here. You can check to this array arguments documentation, and then you will better understand these things. Okay, so now let's see doing with array arguments to create a JSON data on the simple two columns. Okay, we have given this column here. Okay, so what we are doing, we are just copying this object underscore construct first name as first name, last name as last name, and we are just giving this people as a group ID, Pranav as a first name, and Malvi as the last name, and we are just doing the union on all these. Okay, so let's execute this. Okay, and let's see. Okay, you can see we got this array type of data. We have this first name here, and we got this thing. Okay, so these all the things are stored in the array. This is basically the square bracket opening, and this is basically square bracket closing. Okay, so you can see this is the data we got in the array. Okay, so suppose that if you want to get the data in the array type, so you can use this thing, and you can use the array argument function, and you can get the data. So my motive is just tell you that what this array argument function is doing and what all these functions are doing. Okay, so that's the basic the scenario of these things. Okay, and suppose that you want to get any of the data in the array format, so you can use like this. This is basically group ID. Group ID is what? Group ID is people. We have given people as a group ID. Okay, this is basically the group ID. You can see people, and array arguments object underscore construct function we have used for converting the normal data into the JSON format. And you can see here first name, we have given first name. This is basically the first name, last name, and last name, and select people as a group ID, Pranav as first name, like that. And you can see we got this array. Okay, you can see this is square bracket and these things. Okay, so you can just practice these things, and then you will better understand these things. Okay, so now let me first of all show you one data file, people.json, then we will see. Okay, so let me show you the data file. Okay, this is basically the data file, and this is basically first name, and we have these details here, and this is basically second data, and this is basically third data. Okay, so we will just use this thing, and we will see that how can we convert this data into the JSON format. As in this file, this is only the JSON data. Okay, suppose that I don't want to upload this file to the stage or to any of the table. I want to create this type of JSON data. So how can we create this type of JSON data? So what we are doing, we are just selecting this address ID, array arguments object underscore function. We are just giving the column city, state, cities, and we are just doing this for the address. Okay, suppose that here is what it is happening here. Here we have nested type of data. Okay, so nested type of data means here we have let me show you first of all those things. Okay, so you can see this is basically the address data, and here we are having address in the nested, and in address is a parent and city and state is a child. So city and state is belonging to this address, and for the second record as well like this, and for the third record like this. Okay, so we will just create this address type of data into the JSON. Okay, let's see that how can we create this type of data. Okay, so for that you have to just give array arguments object underscore, and you can give the column names, and we are just selecting address as address ID Mumbai, as a city. Here you can see we have cities here, okay, Mumbai as a city, and we are giving Maharashtra as a state, and after that we will give Lucknow as a city, UP as a state, and after that we will give Kolkata as a city, West Bengal as a state. Okay, we are just giving value first, and we are just telling that this is basically this column name. Okay, you can see when we are just doing the union, because we have three records, so we are just doing the union. Okay, select address as an address ID. We are selecting this address parent name as address, we are selecting this as address ID, and Nasik as a city. Okay, and Maharashtra as a state, and Noida as a cities, and you can say UP as states. Group ID by group by, we are just grouping also this thing. Okay, so let me execute this first. Okay, there is no need of this function, but you can just understand that how can we use this array arguments for getting the array type of data. The basic motive is that we use array arguments for getting the array type of data, and we, if we get array type of data, then array type of data will be just a semi structured data, that is JSON type of data. Okay, you can see we got this thing in the array. You can see this is a closing of the square bracket, and this is basically the opening of the square bracket. Okay, you can see this thing. Okay, so basically we use array argument for just getting the array type of data. If we will get array type of data, then we will get JSON type of data, so we have used this thing. Okay, so suppose that this is the data, and you want to parse it into the some of the tabular format. So for the tabular format, it is just, we will not use anything, we are just selecting address as address ID, Mumbai as city, Maharashtra as state. So this is a basic thing, it will just generate a tabular form. You can see we got the tabular format here. Okay, and suppose that you want to do this thing for this data as well. Okay, for this much data. Okay, means here we are not doing the nesting. Okay, so let me do for this way as well. Okay, so we are just selecting people as a group ID, and Rahul as first name, Yadav as last name, male as gender, 18 as age, like that we can do. Okay, so let me execute and let's see. Okay, you can see we got the array of this thing as well. You can see we got the array type of data here. Okay, if we are getting array type of data, it means obvious that we will get JSON type of data. Okay, so basically we use array underscore arguments for just getting the array type of data. If we will get array data, then we will get obviously JSON type of data, because JSON is already containing the array type of data. Okay, so this is what. Okay, and suppose that you want to do this all this thing in the one. Okay, earlier what we have done here, we have just got the array for address first, and after that we are getting the array for this first name, last name, and gender and age. Okay, suppose that you want to means copy, means you want to do, you want to create this type of array data, means in one go only, means we are just doing here what, we are just creating array type of data, means we are creating array type of data for address first. This is for address, and after that we are just creating for the people's, means name, first name, last name, gender, age. Okay, and mobile number. Okay, suppose that you want to get fully this type of data, then JSON data, then how can you do that? You can just merge this people with this address. Okay, and then you will get that type of data. Okay, and you can try that with yourself, then you will better understand these things. Okay, the main motive of these functions is that how can we use these functions for just getting the array type of data, JSON type of data. Okay, so the main motive is that only. Okay, you can just practice these things, or you can just visit to these Snowflake documentation, array arguments and object underscore construct, then you will better understand these things. Okay, so now let me close these things. Okay, so let me close this as well, and now we have done this object underscore construct and array arguments. Object construct is just basically converting the data, and array arguments is just returning the data in the array format. Array format means JSON type of data is it. Okay, now we will see parse of JSON. Okay, how can we parse the JSON? Okay, so now let me create a one table for just parsing, understand the parsing. Okay, so let me type here create JSON table with a variant column. We will just create a table with variant column. Okay, and variant column, you are already knowing variant column is just taking, means it is the column which will take all of the data, means whatever data type it is, float, number, string, whatever, it will just store all types of data. Okay, so let me create a one table first, create or replace table, and let me create a table name is let me give JSON underscore tbl, and let me give one column, let me give the column name JSON column, and data type will be variant. Okay, we have done this thing in the previous session. Okay, so you must be knowing about this thing. Okay, there is no need of explanation. Okay, you can see table is now successfully created. And now what we will do, we will insert some of the records into this table. Okay, let me refresh this. Okay, and you can see this is a JSON table, and you can see JSON table TBL is now successfully created and it has 0 rows. Okay, so now what we will do, we will just insert some of the records into this variant column. Okay, with the, where here we are not doing any of the loading from the internal stage or from the any of the external stage or any of the file, means any of the JSON file we are not loading. Okay, we will just insert the data by our own. Okay, insert into variant column table. Okay, we will insert. Okay, so now let's see that how can we insert the JSON data. Okay, insert into, and after that table name is this one, JSON table, and JSON table, and after that my column is JSON column. Okay, so let me copy the column name as well. Okay, JSON table and JSON column, and after that we usually use values while inserting, while working with the normal data. Okay, we give like that values, and after that this one, and after that single quotes, and after that, as now what we are doing, we are just inserting the simple data. Okay, so how can we check that thing? Okay, so let's try with this. Okay, so suppose that JSON data is like this, first name, last name. Okay, so what we will do, we will just copy this first name. Okay, let me copy this first name, and as it is a key value pair, so we have to give this data in the double quotes. Okay, so first name, you can see we have given first name, and after that first name is Rahul. Okay, so we have to give Rahul also in the double quotes because I am inserting JSON data. Okay, Rahul, and after that let me give emp id. Okay, emp id, and let me give the emp id as let me give 1001. Okay, and this all about, and semicolon. Okay, so this is basically our table, JSON table, and it is having only one column, JSON column, and the data type of this column is a variant. Okay, and suppose that I want to insert the JSON data into this variant column, JSON column, into this JSON table. Okay, so how can you insert this data into this table, JSON data? Okay, and if we will execute this, then it will obviously throw you the error because we have only one column, JSON column. Okay, then how we cannot insert the data like this way into this table. Okay, for that, for inserting the JSON data into any of the table, we got one function. This function came into the picture, that is parse underscore JSON. This function came into the picture. Okay, we will see. Okay, now let me insert this record and let's see that what error it is giving. Okay, insert into JSON table, and this is column name and values. We are just giving the JSON type of records here. Okay, as we are just doing there in the normal data, while dealing with the normal data, we usually do like this, insert into table name, after that values, and after that we are just giving the column name and the value name. Okay, and in the same way here also we are giving, this is first name, this is key, and the value of this key is Rahul, and mp id is 1001. Okay, so let's see that what error it is showing. Okay, so let's execute. Okay, so you can see we got this error, expression type does not match column data type, expecting variant but got worker 38 for column JSON column. Okay, so what it is expecting, it is expecting any of the data of the variant column, but I have given a worker type of data. This is basically the worker type of data. Okay, so we cannot insert into any of the JSON table, means a JSON column which is a data type of variant. We cannot insert any of the data like this way in JSON data into any of the variant column. We cannot insert. Okay, so let me write here error, what error we are facing, and we will solve this error. Okay, error expecting variant got worker. Okay, it was expecting variant but it got worker. Okay, so how can you solve this error? And your requirement is you want to insert the data into this table, then JSON data. Okay, then how can you insert the data? If we are not able to insert like this way, it is showing the error, then how can you insert the data? Then this parse.json, parse underscore JSON function came into the picture. We will just use this parse underscore JSON function for inserting the JSON data into the JSON variant column. Okay, so now let's see that how can we insert. Okay, and if let me try with another method, then we will use the parse.json. Okay, so let me type okay, insert. Let me use the insert statement directly. Okay, so what we will give, we will just give insert into and table name, column and values. Okay, first name, last name. Okay, we have given this thing as well. Okay, so this thing is not working, 1001. Okay, okay, this thing is also not working. Okay, so now let's try with the parse.json. Okay, insert records with parse underscore json. Okay, let's try with the parse underscore json. Okay, that's why this parse underscore json function came into the picture, so that we can insert the json type data into any of the variant column. Okay, so let's see that how can we use this function. Okay, so earlier what we are doing, we are just inserting the record. Okay, so let me copy this thing first. Okay, let me copy and let me paste here. Okay, so now where you have to use this function, so after that what you have to do, after that you have to just give here, let me type here select, and we will give select parse underscore json, and after that uh, braces, and after that single quote. Okay, let me remove this values. Okay, and let me remove this values, and we are just parsing this json data, and after that it will basically work now. Okay, so insert into json table, json column, select parse json and this data. Okay, earlier we are giving this values. Okay, and now we are dealing with the json type of data, so we have to use this parse underscore json. It will just parse this json type of data into this variant column, and this data will be stored into this table. Okay, let's execute and let's see if it is doing their work or not. You can see number of rows inserted 1. Okay, so now let's check the data into the table whether we got the data or not. Okay, list the records. Okay, so select asterisk from, and my table name is json underscore table. Okay, select asterisk from json underscore table. Okay, so let's see that. Okay, you can see we got the data in the json form. You can see emp id 1001 and first name is Rahul. Okay, so by this way you can use the parse underscore json for inserting the json data into your any of the table. Okay, we cannot insert the data like this way by in the normal way. Okay, here it is showing error expecting variant but got a worker because it is acting as a worker data type here. Okay, and you have to just give this parse underscore json function for just parsing your json data into the table. Okay, and you can see we got this data into our table in the json format. Okay, you can show by this way you can just use the parse underscore json function for just parsing the data, inserting that json data into your table which is having a variant column. Okay, earlier what we are doing, we are just doing the loading, means we are just loading that data into the table, that's why it is working. But here we are not doing any loading of the any of the file from internal or external stage. Okay, we are just inserting the records from the queries. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so now let's try inserting multiple records and let's see whether parsing is working or not. Okay, inserting multiple values. Okay, inserting multiple values in column. Okay, and let's try that if multiple parsing is working here or not. Okay, if we will face error, then we will try to solve that. Insert into this table and select parse json, and let me move to the next line this, and after that let me type here a column 1 and from values. We are inserting these all the things in the column 1. Okay, and from values these are the values. Okay, so now let me remove the semicolon first, and let me copy this and let me paste in 2 3 4 times. Okay, let me paste it 4 and 5 times. Okay, and let me insert 5 records here. Okay, 1001 and empid 1002, 1003, 1004 and 1005. Okay, and let me give Rahul, and let me give this name as Pranav, and let me give this name as Shivam, and let me give this name as Sid, and let me give this name as Ankit. Okay, let me change the name. Okay, so now let's try that whether I am able to insert this records or not. Okay, and let me give the comma, and comma here as well, comma here as well, and in the last semicolon. Okay, so now let's execute this and let's see that whether we are able to insert multiple records and whether we are able to parse multiple records into the table or not. Okay, so you can see number of rows inserted 5. Okay, we have successfully inserted these records. Okay, now let's check the data in the table. Okay, you can see we got 6 rows here. First name is empid 1001 Rahul. You can see we have inserted this one, and this is employee id 1 Rahul, and this is employee id 1002 Pranav, and this is for Shivam, and in the similar way for this Sid and Ankita. So you can see Sid and you can see Ankit as well. Let me check for Ankit as well. Okay. Okay, this is for Ankit. So we are just getting the JSON type of data, and we are just using this parse underscore JSON function. Okay, so by this way you can just use this parse underscore JSON function for just inserting the records into any of the table in the JSON format. Okay, so this is all about this parse underscore JSON function. Okay, so now what we will do, we will just insert directly. Means how can you insert the directly means into the table? Okay, in nested records or the array type of data. Here we, what we are doing here, we are just using this parse underscore JSON function, and we are inserting this JSON data into this table in the variant column. Okay, and this is basically the normal data. Here there is no nesting, no array type of data. Okay, so now we will just try using this parse underscore JSON function by using the nesting and all those things. Okay, and then our concept will be more clear. Okay, so let's creating and inserting records in the JSON table, employee table, and directly inserting the JSON data into the table. Okay, so now let me create a one table, create or replace. We are just getting transient table. You can work with the transient. Okay, or you can work with the permanent or temporary. Okay, so that in the transient, basically we have discussed about transient and temporary table will only be accessed in the only one session or one by user on in the one session only, or you can say in the one worksheet. Okay, so let me create a normal table. Okay, so now this is basically the employee table, and employee JSON is a column, and it is a variant data type. Okay, so let me create a one table. Okay, and let's check this thing. Okay, you can see employee table is now successfully created, and let's check the table here. Okay, you can see employee table we got here, and earlier table is now replaced, and you can see we have 0 rows here. Okay, you can see time as well, 11:34. Okay, now what we will do, we will just insert some of the records into this table, and that data will be just nested. First of all, we will just insert nested data and all these, and after that we will see the parsing, that how can we convert this JSON data into the tabular format. Okay, and we will explode the array type of data, I mean semi structured JSON data, into the tabular format. Okay, so now suppose that this is my data. John age is 30 and height in feet, and this is married, true or false. This is a boolean value. Has kids, false. Stock options, or it is null. Okay, and we will just use this parse function for just parsing this data into this our employee JSON, employee table, and employee JSON column. This is a variant column. Okay, so we will just use this parse JSON. Okay, earlier we have used this parse JSON for inserting. Okay, so now let's try that whether it is inserting the data or not into this table. Okay, so let's see. Okay, you can see number of rows inserted 1, and let's check the data in the table. Okay, you can see we have inserted all these records in the JSON format by just parsing. Okay, and you can see we got all the data in the JSON format. Okay, so that's a basic use of employ that parse underscore JSON function for just parsing the normal JSON data into a table. Okay, with a variant column. Okay, so now let's access this data. Okay, so that let's see that how can we access this data. Okay, and for accessing, we have done this accessing by let me show you that accessing. Okay, for nested data, for the normal data, and for the array type of data, we have done this thing. You can see we have just doing this thing. Okay, for getting the array size, for doing this nesting data, for this array type of data, for this nested data, for giving the indexing and all this we have done. Okay, so now let me do this thing here as well. Okay, and let's write the query for accessing the data, because in the table we have JSON type of data, and let's see that how can we access. So we will basically use the colon notation only. Okay, so let me type the query. There is no need for explanation, we have done this thing earlier only. Okay, so this is my column name where all data is stored. This is basically which column? A variant column. Okay, so okay, let me give some space. Employee JSON, and what we are checking, we first of all we will check for name, and after that we will check for employee JSON. After that we will check for age, and let me give comma. This is for name, and after that age, and after that we will check one by one values. Okay, and after that what we will check, after that we will check height in feet, and after that married or not married, and after that kids has underscore kids, and this will is a basically a boolean value, and after that stocks. Okay, stock options. Okay, stock options. Okay, and let me give the semicolon and that thing. Okay, we don't have to give, so we have basically covered all of these things. Okay, and now what we will do, we will just store this taking this from which table, this table, employee table. Okay, let me copy the name of this table and let me paste here. Okay, from this table, and let me remove this space. Okay, and now let me execute. Okay, so this is basically the column notation for accessing the records. Okay, this is basically the column is variant column where all data is stored. You can see this is the column name, employee underscore JSON variant column. Okay, and we are accessing name from this column, age, height, married, has stock option. Okay, so let's execute and let's see. Okay, you can see we got all the data. Employee JSON is John, employee age 30, height is null, and married is true, and you can see has kids false. It he don't have any of the kids, and you can see has stocks null. Okay, you can see if there is no value for that, then it will show null only. Okay, so this is all about this. And and you can give here this thing as well. If you want to give this double quotes, and let's try with the double quotes as well, whether we are getting. Okay, you can see we got double quotes here. Okay, and suppose that you want to print the height, so you can use the height as well here. Okay, so let's execute. Okay, you can see for height. Okay, height is showing null, and let's see the, okay, here we have height in fit 5.11. Okay, so what we have to give, we have to just cast this to the float value, then we will able to see the height. Okay, so we will do that thing as well. Okay, we will do that thing later. You can just cast this and then you will get. Okay, basically our motive is to just check that how can we cast, if we are able to means see the data by using the column notation from here in this table or not. Okay, so we got this. Okay, and now accessing data with the alias notation. So for alias, let me copy this and let me give the alias name. This is a very simple thing. So we will just employee JSON, and what we will do, employee name, and name is just a string, so we will just cast this to the string, and let me give the alias name as name, and you can do like this way. Okay, and this is basically the age, employee JSON age, so age is just an integer, so we are just casting this to the integer, and integer age. Okay, and this is height in feet, so we will see that how to get this height. Okay, employee height in feet, and height is in decimal, so we will just give in decimal here, and as, and we will just give height alias name, and for married is okay, as is married. Okay, and for the kids we will just write alias name as has kids or not. Okay, has kids. Okay, and for the stock options, let me give here a stock underscore options. Okay, from employee table. So this is basically the alias name which I have given here. You can give like this or you can give like this. Okay, and we are just casting as name is an integer string, so we are just casting this to the string by using the double colon, and here age is an integer. Okay, sorry, we have to just give we have given here employee JSON, and we want to access this age, and we are just casting this to the integer. Okay, so age, we are just casting age to the integer, and height in feet, we are just casting this to the decimal, and married and all those things. Well, let's check this thing. Okay, what it is saying, unexpected employee JSON. Okay, what it is saying, employee JSON, what it is saying. Okay, we have given the, okay, we have to give comma here. Okay, we forgot to give comma. Okay, so let's check. You can see we got this John, age, height, is married, has kids, stock option. We got all those things. Okay, so this is all about this thing, that how can you access the data by using the column notation and by casting and all those things. Okay, so that's all about this thing. Okay, why we are not getting height, let me check, let me execute this again, maybe some of the errors. Okay, you can see we got height 5. Okay, we have height in 5.11. Okay, so it is just doing the round off, and we have, this is basically the power of, you can say, casting. We are just casting name to the string, age to the integer, height and fit to the decimal, and all those things. Okay, so you can see we got all of the data in the column format as well. Okay, and we have done the casting, and these are basically the alias name. So by this we can use the alias name, and you can see we got the height and all those things. Okay, so this is basically about this thing. Okay, so now what we have covered, let's check that thing. Okay, so we have covered object construct, array, parse JSON, and we have directly inserted the JSON data into the table. Now we will see type of function, and we have also done the, let me type here, we have done the colon notation accessing. Okay, and we have done accessing JSON data, we have done this thing. Okay, and type of function, we will see the type of function. By the type of function we will just see the data type of that how this JSON data is being created and all those things. Okay, so let's see that how can we see the type of. Okay, so for the type of, let me copy this thing. Okay, so we will just use this thing only in the type of. Okay, we will just see that what is the data type of this is taking. Okay, so we use basically for that type of. Okay, and we are just adding type of function to check how Snowflake trees these key value pairs. Okay, so for that, suppose that you want to see this thing, so you can just use here type of, and after that you can give employee JSON like that way, and employee name, and this time we will not cast this thing. Okay, because we are just giving that thing. Now we are just giving this type of function. Okay, so we will not give casting here. Okay, type of, and after that this, and after that let's remove this casting from here. Okay, okay, and here as well type of, let me copy type of. Okay, type of, and this one. Okay, and let me copy type of. Instead of writing this again we will just paste this instead before every column. Okay, so let me paste here as well, let me paste here as well, let me paste here as well, and let's remove the casting. Okay, this one, and the rest all the things will be same. And now let's check this type of data. Okay, what it is showing, it is giving some of the error, and let's check that what error it is giving. Employee.json stock options, and okay, sorry god, sorry guys, we have to give this one. Okay, we haven't closed the bracket. Okay, here, sorry for that. Let me check this thing, and let's check. Okay, let me close the notification first. Okay, and now let me close the brackets here as well, and now let's execute. Okay, and you can see we got the type of data which is which column is taking. Okay, and you can see this is employee name, as name is an string, so it is taking it as a worker, and age, this is an age is a number, so it is taking as integer, and height we have given decimal, so height is in decimal, and you can see is married is a boolean value, true or false, so it is taking boolean, has kids is also boolean, and null stock options are null, so it is taking the null value. Okay, let me show you the data. You can see name John is an worker, age is integer 30, and this is decimal, and married true, and this is a boolean value, has kids is true or false, so it is a boolean value, and the stock option is null, so it is just giving null. Okay, so by this way you can just check the data type of all these things, that how your Snowflake is just treating your data. Okay, so by using this type of function you can just do that thing. Okay, and you can check that thing. Okay, so now what we will do, we will just see this thing. Okay, and let me insert these records as well for the nesting data and for the array type of data. Okay, so now first of all let me check the data into our table. Okay, select asterisk from, and my table which I am using, this employee table. Okay, so select from this table, let's check the data. We have one row here. Okay, and now what we will do, we can truncate this, or we can use as it is. Okay, we will use just as it is. Okay, you can see insert employee table, employee JSON, this is my variant column name, and we are just parsing this. Okay, we are doing the same thing. Okay, here we have done, here we are just dealing with the simple data. Okay, and now let's try with the nested and array type of data. So this is basically the nested data. Employee is a root, means it is a parent for all these things. You can see all these records, and this is basically the array type of data. In this array, maximum array size is basically 2, and here this is address, and this is having the nested data. Okay, so now let me execute this, and let's insert this record. Okay, and let's see. Okay, let's see the console. You can see number of rows inserted to, and we are just using this parse.json. Okay, so by this way you can suppose that you have a requirement, you want to insert directly JSON type of data into any of the table. Okay, then you can just use this parse underscore JSON, and you can just insert the directly the JSON data into any of the variant data, means variant column table. Okay, you can just do this thing. Okay, so now let's check the data in the table, and now we will get two rows. Earlier one row, and now we got this one. Okay, you can see employee address, we got all these data in the JSON type of. Okay, and now what we will do, suppose that you want to access the nested data. So for the nested data we have covered this thing here in the internal stages loading or the external. Okay, you can see we have done this thing. Okay, internal staging and external staging as well, we have done this thing. Colon notation, how can we access the colon notation data? Okay, so we have basically written this thing earlier only, because if we write this thing in the video, then video will be very long. Okay, and that's not good practice for understanding. Okay, we cannot concentrate for 1.5 to 3 hours in the into same. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, accessing the records in the nested data with just colon notation for nested one, and this for also work. Okay, you can just use this single or you can use this one. Okay, both thing will work. Okay, so this is basically the thing, we have done this thing earlier. Okay, you can see we have done this thing employee JSON, and this is basically the variant column of the table, and all the data is stored in this. Okay, so we are just accessing this name, and we are just casting, and we are accessing age, height, married, has stocks, stock option. Okay, we will do the same thing here as well, but here what it is, here we have the nested data, so that's why we have inserted the nested data, and we will see that if it is working for nested data or not. Okay, so this is employee.json, and here we have employee.name. Okay, let me show you the data first. Okay, okay, you can see this is employee, and you can see employee name, address, and all those things, married and stocks null, and we have all types of data, nested data as well, and array type of data. Okay, so we are just selecting employee JSON, this is a variant column name, and we are accessing employee name. Employee is a parent, and you can see, let me show you. Okay, let me show you the data. Suppose that this is our table, and here we have written this people, people. Okay, here we have written. Okay, so people is a parent for all these types of data. What if you want to access, then we will just use people dot first name, people dot last name, people dot gender, people dot age, people dot phone, people dot address, like that. Okay, so people is basically the root of all those things. Okay, and these all the childs of the people. Okay, this is basically the tree type of diagram which we usually follow. Okay, so we are just doing this thing. Okay, so we are just taking this employee.json, employee.name from employee, it is a root, and we are accessing this name, and we are just casting name as a string, as name is a string, and we are just giving the alias name as name. And in the same way in the height as well, in the age, height, as age is an integer, so we can just cast this, or you can leave it as it is. Okay, we are, this is married, and this is has kids, and you can just check the type of that, how many, what is the type of phone. Okay, as here we have phone as well. Okay, you can see this is a phone number. Okay, you can see this is a phone number, so we have added type of as well. Okay, and suppose that you want to get the array size, so it will show you the array size. Suppose that I want to get the array size of this employee JSON, and from the employee.phone as how many phone, then you can get the array size as well. We have done this thing. Okay, let me show you. You can see we have checked the array size for the best addition from the authors. Okay, like this way you can use this thing here as well. Okay, and this is for employee phone 0 indexing, phone number means we are just accessing the indexing here. Okay, so phone 0 will be this, phone 0 will be this, indexing 0 position, and phone 1 will be this one. Okay, you can see phone 0 and phone 1, and we are giving the alias name, and we are just giving the type of here as well. And in the address, let me show you the address first. Okay, so in the address, what I am having in the address, we are this is a nested data. So suppose that I want to access this is city, so we will just give address dot city, address dot state, address dot street. Okay, like that way. Okay, so you can see we have given employee JSON, employee address dot city, address dot street, address dot city here, address dot state here, as we are giving alias name. Okay, so this is that how can we access the data. Okay, so now let's execute, and let's see if we will get error, then we will try to solve that. Okay, you can see we got this data John 35. We are just accessing this data from the second row, from for this table. Okay, you can see we have inserted the record, this is a record. Okay, let me show you the data first. Okay, you can see I want this data. Okay, so that's why in the one it is showing null. Okay, so let's check the data. Okay, you can see we are getting this John 30, 5.11 height and is married, true, has kids, and all these things in the column format. Okay, and you can see we are getting the work phone as well. You can see we are getting this work phone, office phone, and address type is object, and this is basically the street, and this is city, and this is state. We got all those things in the separate columns. Okay, so by this way you can just access the JSON data, and you can cast this to the particular data types, and you can get the data, and you can explode array type of semi-structured JSON data to the tabular format. Okay, and you can just apply some of the mathematical functions as well. Okay, let's tell you that how can you apply. We will just apply on the height. Okay, so for height, let me write the query. Okay, select let me copy from here as well. Okay, employee JSON, and let me copy this thing and let me paste here. Okay, instead of writing select employee JSON is my variant column name, and we are just accessing this height as age, and this is height in feet. And suppose that I want to give here some type of query I want to perform. Okay, so you can just perform like that way. Okay, in this bracket, and we are just multiplying it with let me give some of the things. Okay, dot 54 like that as a height in centimeter. Okay, we are just converting this thing now, height in centimeter as height in feet, so we are just converting that height in the centimeter. Okay, and you can just get the type of and as well. Okay, so let's check that whether we are able to perform any of the mathematical calculation here or not. Okay, here, okay, in the JSON data. Okay, let me do this thing. Okay, sorry for that, guys. Okay, okay, let me copy the table name from here and let me paste here. Okay, and let's check that we are able to get this. Okay, let me remove the semicolon from here. What we are doing, we are just converting this height, as now height is in feet. You can see 5 feet, 5.11 feet height is. Okay, so we are just converting this height into the centimeter. Okay, and let's check that whether our JSON is means expecting this thing or not. Okay, mathematical expression. Okay, let's check this. Okay, see we got two rows, and you can see we got this thing. Okay, this is basically what it is. This is basically the age 30 age. Okay, let's check the age first. Okay, you can see age is 30, so we have selected age column as well. Okay, you can see we have selected employee dot age is 30. Okay, and you can see height 5 feet in centimeter is 155.7528 centimeter. Okay, so mathematical is also accepting by the JSON. Okay, so we can do the mathematical calculation as well on the JSON. Okay, so that's all about this thing. Okay, so now let's see the date and time stamp. Okay, so this is that how can we insert the array type of data and nested data, and how can you check the data by doing the parsing and by giving the indexing and using the type of, and how to get the array size and all this, and how can we use the mathematical operations. Okay, so we are just using the mathematical operations. Okay, so you can use the mathematical operations as well. Okay, and this is basically the date and time stamp. Okay, so let's see that how JSON is treating date and time stamp. So we are just inserting this record into that table only, and here we have just given the time stamp. Okay, let's insert this record first. You can see number of rows inserted 1, and let's check the data first. Okay, so for checking the data, let me type select asterisk from employee table, and let's check the data. Okay, what is my table? TBL. Okay, let me remove E from here. Okay, TBL. Okay, let me execute. Okay, you can see we got this thing. Okay, this is earlier one data, and this is we have inserted nested type of data, and this is basically the third row is for now. Okay, we have inserted this DOB timestamp and the date of birth, and DOB the timestamp at a particular time we have inserted. Okay, so now let's check that how can we work with this thing. Okay, so let me write the one query for accessing this timestamp. Okay, so let me write. Okay, so let me write select, and my column name is emp JSON. Okay, this is my column name of variant column. Okay, select emp JSON and DOB and 2:, and we are just casting this DOB to the date. Okay, because DOB is a date. Okay, let's see that whether we are able to access this or not. Okay, and another is emp JSON. And let me give the indentation as well so that we can better understand. And after that, what is this dob timestamp? Okay, so let me copy this dob timestamp, as my spelling of the timestamp is wrong. Okay, so let's work with as it is. Okay, and let me cast this to the timestamp because it is a timestamp, so we are just casting this to the timestamp. And from where? From my table. Okay, from my table name is this one. Okay, let me copy the table and let's check this. Okay, whether we are able to get this or not. Okay, let me give the order by clause, order by one, and let me describe descending order. Okay, so let's execute and let's see how it is treating. Okay, so it is showing null for these because we are not doing this for that. And you can see it is giving the date like that as well. Okay, you can see dob is 11/12/2022, and for the timestamp it is showing the timestamp. Okay, so if you want to access any of the date of birth, any of the time, so you can just access by this way, employee date, and this is basically the dob. You can see this is basically the dob, and we are just casting this dob by the double colon to the date, and this is dob timestamp. We are just casting this to the timestamp. Okay, and you can get the data by like that way. Okay, so we got all these data. Okay, you can see it, you can see we got this thing. Okay, so by this way you can just access the date or the timestamp as well. Okay, so now we have covered all of the things, and let's check there. Okay, so we have called object construct, that how can we convert the normal data into the JSON, and we have seen array arguments, means it is just returning the array type of data, and if we are getting array type of data, then means that obvious that we are getting the JSON type of data. And we have seen parse.json, parse underscore JSON, that how we are parsing the data. You can see we are just inserting the records, and we tried to insert the record by this way, but it is not executing. It is showing error expecting variant but got worker. Okay, and here we are just using this parse underscore JSON function for just parsing all of the JSON type of data into the table. Okay, and we have seen directly inserting the record. We have seen that how can we access the data by using the colon notation. Okay, and let's check that thing as well. Okay, you can see we are just inserting the records, and we are just accessing the record here. Okay, colon notation, we are just giving the alias name as well. And we have seen that how can we use the type of function for getting the data type, that how Snowflake tables are just treating your key value pairs. Okay, and we have just inserted this data array type of data and the nested data, and we have seen this thing, that how can we access this data by using the type of array size and all those things by giving the indexing. Okay, and we have also seen how to perform the mathematical operation on any of the JSON data. We have just converted height in feet, which was 5 feet, and we have converted that height to the centimeter, means let's check the how many centimeter we got. We got 155 centimeter. Okay, you can see we have seen this thing. And after that we have seen how can we cast this date and timestamp, how to deal with the date and timestamp. So for the date you can just give date dob, you can cast it to the date, and timestamp you cast to the timestamp. Okay, so we have seen all those things. We dealing with date and timestamp, we have covered these 6 points. Okay, now we are left with flattening JSON data into the separate tables. We are left with the flattening. Okay, so now that's all about the today's session, and we will do this flattening in another session. Okay, in the upcoming session, because now I think video is I think for 1 hour. Okay, so if we will do flattening in this today's session only, then video will be just like 2.5 hours. Okay, so let's not do this topic flattening JSON data and loading into other tables. We will just do flattening in other session. Okay, so the link of that session is given in the description box. You can watch that session. Okay, for a better understanding of the flattening. Okay, in the flattening what we will do, let me give you some quick idea of this. Okay, so what we will do. Okay, so let's check that thing. Okay, so let me show you some of the things. Okay, so for flattening what we will do, for flattening, suppose that let me show you the data first which I have used here. Okay, so suppose that this is my data, we will be just dealing with this data only. Okay, so here what we are having, here we are having this thing of employee. Okay, and this is a phone, it is an array type of data, and it is an array type, it is an nested data. Okay, so in the flattening what we will do, we will store this data in some other table, and we will store phone data in some other table, and address data in some other table. and after that we can combine these things as well. Okay, or you can just work with separate things. Okay, we will discuss this thing flattening in the next session. Okay, so that's all for today. Bye, take care of yourself guys, and meet you soon in the next very interesting tutorial of the flattening JSON data and loading to the Snowflake table. Okay, we will discuss that thing. Okay, so that's all for today, and the link for flattening JSON data is given in the description box. You can watch that session. Okay, and the link of all of the videos are given in the description box. You can watch those sessions according to your need. JSON internal loading, external loading, JSON object construct, array arguments, and all those things we have covered. And now we are left with flattening JSON data and loading into Snowflake tables. Okay, so that's all for today. Bye, take care of yourself guys, and you can watch this video as well. Okay, because this video is a very important flattening concept. Okay, so that's all. Bye, take care of yourself guys.